What's that?
Here we go.
I'm meteorologist Adam Josar. I'm working with Cecily, Tynan, and Melissa McGee back there. We just were issued a tornado warning. We're getting the information for this since it was just issued for right now until 5:15. A tornado warning, meaning the possibility is there that radar has indicated a tornado is possibly rotating in parts of Montgomery County and near also the border of Chester County. It is moving east at 45 miles an hour. It was indicated on the radar about 14 miles north of Westchester near Royersford. That's right on the border of Montgomery County and Chester County, moving to the east at, again, 45 miles an hour. So some of the towns that have this tornado warning in effect until 5:15, East Norton and also King of Prussia, moving to the east again at 45. Let's take a look at the present radar right now, and this is where we're looking. Here is Phoenixville. This is pretty far south of where the tornado warning is. The tornado warning is a little farther to the north than near Spring City and up to the north of northern end of this particular radar imagery near Limerick and also near Royersford. So we're seeing a little bit of a hook in the radar, as you can see right up here to the north. If we can bring this radar a little bit more to the north so we can see where this near Pottstown, because this is where we're starting to see that influx of some winds here. Not looking at any cylinder at the present time, but this is where we're seeing a little bit of a hook in that radar just to the east of Pottstown, heading towards Limerick, and also just to the west of mainland Frederick right there. 134 lightning strikes in this particular vantage point. And again, it is not so certain that a tornado is on the ground, but the radar was just showing by the National Weather Service some spin. At this point, we will watch this particular area between Pottstown and Limerick as it's particularly moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. Anywhere near Pottstown, again, Trapp, Spring City, I would definitely get on the first level of your floor. In fact, we'll take a look at what you should do when a tornado warning is particularly issued. You want to stay away from the second story of any building, or third, fourth, anything beyond that. Be on the lowest level of your floor. Avoid windows. Also, interior hallway or bathroom is the best place to be because you don't want to be in the exterior of the home. You want to be in the interior of the home near a closet. Also, you want to cover your head if you don't have an interior closet and you're exposed to any windows. Definitely want to protect yourself with this particular tornado warning. Again, here you are in some of the towns and the times as this is pushing off to the east. New Hanover at 4:51. That is when the expected possible tornado will be hitting some of these communities. Barlow Heights at 4:54, Fruitville at 4:55, and Limerick Center 4:55. This is a very populated area, 422. You've got the outlet mall, the Limerick Outlet Mall here, and that is right in the direct path of this possible tornado. As you can see, a little bit of a hook in the radar now east of Pottstown, far to the east of Birdsboro. Again, we're not looking at any particular cylinder on this, but you know what? I'm going to also go back here. I'm going to still talk over this particular image for you, but we're going to look and see if we can pull up one of those cylinders on the radar as the storm is moving east at about 45 miles an hour. Overall, at this point, again, it is a radar indicated tornado at this particular time, but there you go. Okay, there are the cylinders that are popping up near Pottstown and also just to the north and west of Limerick, to the south of New Hanover, Frederick, as this is moving to the east at, again, of around 45 miles an hour in this particular area. Graterford, I would be on the first level of your home as well. Let's zoom this out a little bit and show you, again, that kind of void, as you see, where you have the deep colors to the north and you have the lack of color of the green near Limerick. That's where you get the influx of some of those winds that siphon into this particular storm and cause some rotation in the atmosphere, so you get the winds to come in like this. So again, Limerick, Trapp, Spring City, you're pretty far to the south, so you're okay where Spring City is, but here again is that border of Chester and Montgomery County, now moving into Montgomery County, so it is north of Chester County at this point. But again, we'll look at the area of where this particular tornado warning is in effect until 5:15 p.m. Right there is where we're seeing the cylinder, and it's heading towards the east, towards East Norton. If you're in King of Prussia, you're right on the border because King of Prussia is a little to the south and east. And again, the storm is moving in more of this fashion towards the east. But still, if you're near this red box, you definitely want to take shelter at the present time. Here we are looking at it. You still have the cylinders. Here's the towns and the times. The new ones near Fruitville at 4:56, Limerick Center at 4:57, New Hanover Square about 3 minutes before 5 o'clock, and also Lindbergh Heights 3 minutes before 5 o'clock at 4:57. So that's about 3 minutes from now. You have time to get to the first level of your home. Again, you have a perfect signature here with the void in the green and the radar here. That's the winds being siphoned into the storm and creating some kind of rotation. Typically, when we see these cylinders, one just went away. When you look at the exterior of the cylinder with double scan live radar, notice the color is yellow. That means upper level winds. If this was a red cylinder, then you would know that the winds are rotating all the way down to the surface. So at this point, still want to create it that it could be a tornado on the ground. But right now, when you look at that cylinder, you definitely see its upper level winds and not so much at the surface, but it's something we'll track as it's moving along 422. I'm going to bring in meteorologist Cecily Tynan to take over a little bit while I take a look at some more data back in the Weather Center.
Thank you so much, Adam. If you're just joining us at 4:44 this afternoon, the National Weather Service issued a tornado warning. This is from Royersford, including East Norriton, the King of Prussia area, and this warning us until 5:15 this evening. Now, what we've been getting, we have a very strong cold front that's working from the west. We have a lot of energy ahead of it, so this is creating some severe weather. We've had wind reports of 55 miles per hour, and Adam and I have been watching this particular line for about the past half hour because we have been seeing a bowing. A bowing of this does indicate rushing winds, damaging winds, and also we have been picking up that cylinder that does indicate some rotation in the atmosphere. Again, this has been Doppler indicated. No reports of anyone actually seeing a funnel cloud, but when you do see this, you do really want to take it seriously. So this is moving towards the east very quickly at 45 miles per hour. So if you live in these communities, you do want to seek shelter immediately. Fayetteville, Fruitville, New Hanover Square, Limerick Center, Lindbergh Heights, and Frederick. Now we have moved this into what's known as relative velocity. What this shows is the winds heading towards the radar site and the winds heading away. And we are seeing, if we can we put that back on? And we are seeing a little bit of that shifting with the winds. And again, that is indicated with that cylinder as well as it continues to push to the east at 45 miles per hour. So this is worth repeating. We don't get a lot of these tornado warnings, but tornado safety, what you want to do, if you have a basement, go into the basement right away. You want to avoid any windows. Go to the lowest floor of your house. If you don't have a basement, get into an interior hallway or a bathroom, and very key to cover your head immediately, because a lot of the problems with tornadoes, it's flying debris. It can cause a head trauma. So let's head back to the radar, and I think what I'd like to do is go over to the big board so we can show this. Can they follow me?
She's going to pixel.
I'm going to pixel because I think we can show it a lot better. Here we go. Thank you for following me. So here we have it right here. This is where we have a possible tornado. We at least have some rushing winds. It's just to the north and to the east of Pottstown, moving through Limerick right now, and we see that bowing. So that is an indication of a possibility of a tornado, and it's moving very quickly. This whole line is moving east at 45 miles per hour. So here are some of these communities, and actually, Melissa, if we could extend this to include a few more communities, because this is a very populated area. As we extend it, there we go. And we can see Limerick, 4:59. What time is it now? So in about 1 minute right now. We've had 73 lightning strikes associated with this. Also, it's the evening commute. So we are looking at the blue route right here. So if you know anyone who's heading towards the blue route right now, give them a call. Say, wait for a while until the storm passes. A lot of times when we get a storm like this, we can see kind of a raining out of the storm. So that will lead to lesser intensification, and hopefully we can see the tornado warning expire. Right now we're looking at the cell right to the north of 422, heading towards the blue route. 71 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. So this is pretty intense cell. And the communities. All right, this is good. Thank you so much. Trapp, Schwenksville, Yerkes, Greatersville, or Greater Ford, Rawns, and Collegeville, all in the path of this storm. So again, we do have that tornado warning in effect until 5:15. Let me go back to that graphic and show you exactly what we're looking at. And if I can actually get a cup of water as well, that'd be great. All right, if you're just joining us, tornado warning has been posted for parts of Montgomery County until 5:15, including Royersford, heading towards East Norriton and King of Prussia. We've had some very gusty thunderstorms rolling through, and we're looking at this bowing out right now. And this is an indication that we could be seeing some rotating winds, at least some very strong winds. Wind gusts up to 55 miles per hour reported with this storm. As I get a drink of water. Thank you very much. So if you live in these communities, Trapp, Schwenksville, Yerkes, Graterford, Rawns, or Collegeville, you do want to seek shelter immediately. And some of the key points, really, what you want to do, you want to get away from the top floor. If you have a basement, a great idea. And if you're in your car, pull over, try to get into a safe building, or at least leave your seatbelt on and get your head under the window. That can be very key as well. This is something we don't deal with much in this area, but again, tornado warning until 5:15.
All right, and we're taking a look right now, double scan live radar overall. We're looking at this particular area near Limerick. That is where we're possibly seeing this rotation. It continues until 5:15. This was issued 10 to 15 minutes ago, just to the west of Pottstown, near Royersford, moving to the east at about 45 miles an hour. The towns right here, you can see Yerkes around 5 o'clock, Graterford 5:01, Collegeville also 5:01, Evansburg around 5:02. This is moving into very populated areas of Montgomery County near Interstate 476, the northeast extension. We are dealing with very heavy rain right on the brink north of Worcester, and also Lansdale near the Quakertown exit. Also extremely heavy rain and very vivid lightning. There you can see that little influx, the void of some of the bright colors. That is where we would possibly see some rotation. Now, if you were joining us right at the very beginning of this tornado warning that was issued, you saw cylinders in this particular area near Pottstown and Limerick. At this point, we have not seen a cylinder with many scans, which is a good thing to indicate that any kind of rotation that was created in the upper levels of the atmosphere, the mid levels of the surface, have pretty much fallen apart. However, despite you don't see a cylinder, you definitely still want to take shelter in this area near Worcester, Norristown, and 422, as this is moving directly to the east at about 45 miles an hour. If you're near Phoenixville or in Norristown, you are pretty far south of where this particular possible tornado was. So more than likely, you're just going to be dealing with heavy rain, gusty winds, and vivid lightning. I would, again, be on that key point of an easterly direction from Limerick at this point near Schwenksville around 5:01, Graterford at 5:02, Collegeville that is right on the edge here, on the southern edge at 5:02, as well as this pushes off to the east. We'll take a look at the particular map of where this was issued. They have not cut, and when I say they, that's the National Weather Service, because they are the ones who issue these tornado warnings anywhere near Royersford, but we know it is pretty far to the east of that area at this point. Again, that tornado warning in any community that is near or within this box of the red from King of Prussia to East Norriton. It does not include Lansdale, but you're still going to see some pretty nasty weather as this line pushes in from the east. Again, we'll take a look at the radar. You see, again, we have that little bit of a void, that little hook in the radar. Where you get the hook, where you don't have much in the way of heavy rain, that is where you can get the circulation. So typically north of that circulation, near Green Lane, Souderton, along the northeast extension, and Limerick at this point, it is just torrential rain, lightning bolt after lightning bolt, and some gusty winds. But again, it's the area that you're not seeing the heaviest rain, where we could see some of that rotation that develops within the storm. Total of lightning strikes at this point, 50. Again, tornado warnings don't happen a ton in our area. So what you want to do, you want to be on the first floor of your home. You stay away from the second floor or the top floor, because that's where the winds are the strongest. They come from the top down to the bottom. You want to avoid windows, go to the lowest floor in your house, or if you're in a high-rise building. I've got a lot of questions over Facebook and Twitter. What happens if I'm in a high-rise? Well, you get to the lowest level of that high-rise, the first level or the basement, interior room, away from the windows, because most of the injuries is because flying debris hitting a window, throwing glass into the house, and that's why people tend to get hurt. Here again, Collegeville 5:03, Evansburg 5:05, and Creamery at 5:06. It is approaching Worcester, Lansdale at this point. Right now, here is 422. The highway of 422, right between Phoenixville and Limerick. It is just to the east of 422 where you have that little bit of winds shifting into the storm. Because again, where the storm is wrapping up near Green Lane and Limerick, it's almost taking a breath, so to speak. So it pulls in those winds, and as it approaches the northeast extension, we are not seeing any cylinders at the present time. It is east of Route 100 right now, near Pottstown, Frederick, Souderton, Lansdale. You're dealing with the heavy rain, but again, the area that we are tracking for this possible tornado is most of southern and central parts of Montgomery County, not including Lansdale. It does include King of Prussia at this point. Also, it does include East Norton. Now, if we bring in Storm Tracker 6 Live 3D, I believe I have it in here in one of the sources. Here it is, Storm Tracker 6 Live 3D. In this technically viewing area of where these storms are passing through, we're not seeing any cylinders on 3D either at this point. But you can see heavy rain from Allentown, Doylestown, all the way back towards Lancaster. This is the cold front that is bumping into air temperatures we have seen about 14 degrees above normal today, and that humidity has spiked up to fuel the storms as well. So you can see that little bowing out of the line that's creating some of the winds that we have seen, gusts between 40 to 65 miles an hour. But again, good thing we're not seeing any particular cylinders on the radar at that present time, but that tornado warning does continue until 5:15, so still for another 10 minutes for this area of Montgomery County. And as we keep looking at double scan live radar, it's a good thing that we're not seeing those cylinders pop up. Great technology with double scan live radar to show us within the storm if there is some kind of rotation. But at this point, when we're taking a look at the reflectivity, that's the mode where you see all the different colors in the rain, we're not looking at any kind of circulation, but the present updated times right now, we're looking at Yerkes at 5:07 and also Collegeville right around 5:08.
You know, I'm going to step in here and join you because we're really focusing on this area because this is where we do have the tornado warning. But we are seeing a lot of severe weather. So the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning also for Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, and Philadelphia County until 5:30 tonight. And we've got reports of a lot of wind damage. West Nantmeal, Chester County reporting wind gusts 56 miles per hour. New Morgan and Berks County reporting trees down over Route 76. So we're seeing, so this is all with that line that's moving through right now.
From the north and west.
And part of what's going on is that we have the very warm temperatures ahead of it, and then we have the cooler air behind it. So that's what's causing the clash right now.
And we have that, even though areas, if you're watching in southern Delaware or also central southern New Jersey, it's pretty nice right now, and you're like, okay, well, is it going to make it here? And we do have that watch in effect until 8 o'clock tonight. So a watch means the potential is there that these storms could turn severe, so we can't let our guard down as these storms are passing towards Philadelphia and southern New Jersey.
And the main thing really has been the winds with these thunderstorms. Wind gusts, Lancaster County Airport, 55 miles per hour. And with the possibility of that rotation, that's why we do have that tornado warning until 5:15 reported for Montgomery County.
We've got to continuously show these updates, and if we'll go back to the radar here, I'm going to pass through a lot of these graphics and make sure that this particular tornado warning, which it is still technically in effect right now until 5:15 p.m. near East Norton and King of Prussia. When you take a look at this particular area of red, you definitely want to look at the eastern half of this red at this point as opposed to the western half, because this tornado warning was issued some time ago. Now it's 5:07. It was issued just after 4:45, 4:50 p.m., and that's where it originated. So at this point, it's pretty far to the east in this particular box. And if we look at the present radar, there you can see Worcester and Lansdale. You're in that area where you have that classic hook right here, where you get those southerly winds to pull into the storm to try to wrap those winds and create some kind of funnel. But we, again, have not seen, with scan after scan at this point, of seeing any kind of cylinder in this area, which is a good sign. All right, we're going to go to 3D right now and take a look at this particular line that continues to pull through the area. And if you want to come in, Cecily, you can definitely, show this particular bow echo that continues to pass towards Philadelphia and approach parts of Chester and southern Montgomery.
And that's what we had been watching since about 4:20 this afternoon when it really rolled through Lancaster County. And this, when you see a bow like this is really the rushing winds behind it. Where you see the apex of it, that's where we have the strongest winds. So even if it turns out it's not a tornado, we're looking looking at a lot of wind damage potential with this storm. Where you get that rotation, that little bit of a spin, that's what can produce that tornado. And I do want to show you, Melissa McGee is back there working right now, this graphic. So this really shows. There we go. This shows the red. That's where we have the tornado warning. Areas in yellow, this is where we have the severe thunderstorm warning. So if you live in any of these areas, including Philadelphia, you really do want to get inside. Not only are we reporting a lot of wind damage, there's a lot of lightning.
Right.
Kids have soccer games. You hear that thunder. They have practices. Get them inside right away, because lightning can be a lot more dangerous than a tornado.
I mean,
that's for
people
sure.
are gearing up for high school football this evening as well. And you made a good point there is, everyone gets fixated in the red area, which they should, where there's a tornado warning. But outside that area where you're seeing the yellow, straight line wind damage can be just as strong and just as devastating as a weak tornado.
And we saw that a lot
so there's
over
no
the
difference
summer. We
really
saw
between
that,
the damage.
Yeah, where people said it must have been a tornado, but you get a macro burst, and that really can fan out, can bring a lot of trees down. So we really do want to take this very seriously, because this storm system definitely has some punch.
It has some punch to it whatsoever. And you can see here, about to cross over the northeast extension near that Lansdale exit, and then as you get to the Quakertown exit a little farther to the north, it's kind of sandwiched in between at this point. And let's put a new storm track on here. Thank you, Melissa McGee, back there working on this for us. And you can see right around 511 Bethel Hill, Oak Park at 512, Hatfield at 512 as this moves to the east. And it's racing to the east at 45 miles an hour.
Exactly.
And you know that when the storm moves, I mean, it has its own momentum of wind in addition to the wind coming out of the storm, so you get that combo effect.
You get it ahead of it, you get it behind it. And a part of the problem with this is the fact that here it is. It's crossing the northeast extension right now. It's the evening commute. So if you do have some friends who are getting ready to head home and really travel across this area, you do want to give them a call. Wait it out. It's moving so quickly. It's in and out pretty quickly. And once we get this first line, we're looking at some heavy rain. But it's the first line, the leading edge. That's what's causing the problems. That's what's causing the wind damage as well. And really most of the lightning. Once you get behind this, you just have the rain.
There's many dangerous aspects of this. And Melissa, if we can kind of widen out this radar just a tad, because I want to give a little, a little more perspective, of this, and take a look at it, you and I, Cecily, and you can see what Cecily was chatting about of that bowing nature.
Right there.
Right around there, that bowing. So, and you're getting that little bit of a hook north of that bow where the original tornado warning was issued back towards Pottstown. And what you need to watch out for, Horsham, Willow Grove, and Jenkintown, is the rushing wind ahead of this, the straight line wind damage. So you're going to get a really strong blast of wind before that heavy rain and lightning push in, and then behind it you have the possible circulation that is now east of Limerick, heading towards Lansdale and south of Souderton, and well north of Phoenixville, and at this point well north of Norristown. So if you're in this area, I don't know if you agree, we're looking at this at the same time together, you're well north of where the circulation could be.
But at the same point, we have the severe thunderstorm.
Exactly.
So again, so even if you're not in the path of what could be a tornado, we're speculating here because we have not had any eyewitness accounts. A lot of times you get the rotation, it's in the upper atmosphere. It's not getting to the surface. But again, this is a dangerous thunderstorm, and I'm just getting word from our producer that if you can safely get any photos, send them to us on social media. I've had some pictures sent of the rain, Berks County, and the evening commute. Again, a lot of people are driving through some very heavy rain. You really want to be careful. No flash flood warnings posted, but it's dropping a tremendous amount of rain in a short period of time. So this can be dangerous.
And if you get those pictures, I mean, the best time to get the pictures if you have damage is after.
Exactly.
Not like during and you hear, all the things going.
Stay safe. That's the most important
That's number
thing right
one.
now.
And then if you have damage after, it's great to share with us, because then we can share it with everybody else to show you, what kind of damage can occur from straight line winds or the possibility of a tornado as you're pushing through. And you're still seeing this box of red, the particular tornado warning. For 2 more minutes, and then the outer area, which is the yellow, which includes Center City, Philadelphia, is a severe thunderstorm warning.
And that's till 5:30.
Until 5:30.
And the tornado warning is until 5:15. And this is live data, so if it is lifted, we'll actually see this red area
kind of
disappear right away, and we can breathe a sigh of relief.
Because we look at the radar, we still have that little bit of a hook. But when we first went on, we saw the cylinders that developed, and we haven't seen any of those cylinders.
Which can be good.
Which is a good thing. I mean, it doesn't, just because there's no cylinder doesn't mean you're still not taking shelter at the present time, as it's passing over an extremely busy highway at this point in the northeast extension.
And you can see how quickly it's moving.
Yeah.
It is moving at 45 miles per hour to the east. Lots of lightning strikes. This view alone, which is a pretty close-up view, 29 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes. And this is, again, moving to the east. It will be crossing 611. So these are some of the communities in the path of this possible tornado. I want to keep saying possible. Gwinnett Square, Oak Park, Hatfield, Orville, Lansdale, and North Wales. And this is all really part of the broader complex, the cold front that's rushing in, that's causing the widespread severe weather.
Right,
Here's the 3D.
you can see, you look at double scan 3D and you can just see almost the entire southeastern parts of Pennsylvania at this point getting very heavy rain and seeing a lot of lightning and very strong winds with this line as it's passing through. And then within this line, we had that possible tornado that was embedded, on the western flank, so to speak, of the leading edge of this cold front.
And one thing I do want to point out, too, if you look at this, you can see how it's really staying together. A lot of time when we have a line of thunderstorms, it can almost rain itself out. The atmosphere cools off a little bit, and you see it starts to weaken, and this is staying together pretty well as it moves to the east right now.
Melissa McGee just brought us some good news.
All right, the tornado warning has now expired. Here we go.
So that red box is completely gone, which is a good indication that that storm is weakened with the possible rotation, but we are still dealing with severe weather in this entire area where you're seeing the orange.
This is a severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30, and we'll continue to track it. But again, that tornado warning has officially expired. Back to you, Rick and Monica.
All right, thank you so much, Cecily and Adam, for all of that. We appreciate it. The latest on the tornado watch and a thunderstorm warning.
All right, we'll take a quick break. Be right back with more news. Stay with us.